Welcome to the Positive Pants Podcast. Mindset, motivation and inspiration to help you find your positive pants. It's time to let go of negative thinking, understand why you do what you do, and stop the self-sabotage with your host, Fran Excel.
Welcome to the show. As always, it's Fran Excel, your resident subconscious success mentor, helping you find your very own pair of positive pants so you can get out of your own way and live a life that you love. If you want to stop self-sabotaging your own success and let go of the stress, then you are in the right place, my friend. Make sure you download your free Stressed to Success guided meditation at bit.ly/stress to success as my little gift to you just for being here. Please do subscribe, share and review. It really, really helps people that need to hear this message find us, and I so appreciate it. In the show notes, you'll also find details of how you can work with me and where you can get your mitts on my meditations, products, printables, programs. You can find it through the link in my bio on Instagram, which is my favorite place to hang out. So please do come join me over there at I'm Fran Excel. Tag me in your takeaways, slide into my DMs. I'm here for it. So that's the formalities over, my love. So let's jump to the content. I know I've covered something vaguely similar to this a few months ago, but quite often I feel like it's only a few months ago and it might be 2 years ago. But I felt it important to revisit with a slightly different slant for you this week. I'm always going to try and support the best I can in tricky times to attempt to shift thoughts and shift perspectives so you don't have to stay stuck in any loops or spirals or impending doom when you don't need to. So I hope you forgive me for a little repetitiveness in these crazy bananas times. So what is radical honesty? Well, it kind of does what it says on the tin, really. It's being completely, unadulteratedly honest with yourself and others. And it's more difficult than it sounds. It's where you override your natural autopilot instinct to tell innocent little porcupines that we all do day to day to protect people's feelings or to avoid conflict or whatever it might be, and just be honest in that moment. But the hardest part is practicing radical honesty with ourselves. Like, we all tell white lies to save someone's feelings, or purely out of habit based on what we've learned is acceptable, right? And the ways someone will ask us if we're okay, and we'll reply with, yeah, fine, thanks, you? Even if that's miles away from the truth. Or saying no when someone asks, would you like some help? Even if we desperately do want the help. And I'm mainly focusing on radical honesty with ourselves for this episode, but it's worth bearing all of that and this whole concept in mind as you go about your day to day. Like, how many times per day are you not exactly honest with people? What do you find yourself feeling you can't be honest about, and why? What is the story around what might happen if you were completely honest in those moments? What are some of the things that pop up from those questions? No wonder we struggle to get our needs met. Yikes! So for now, we focus on our internal dialogue of honesty with ourselves. We want all the lovely things that come from high levels of self-awareness, like self-acceptance, self-compassion, self-love even. Like, to understand our own behavior and triggers and not judge ourselves for it, and be able to look at ourselves, warts and all, and know that we are worthy, valuable and lovable. And the freedom. The freedom! But many of us aren't willing to do the deep dive into our own psyche that will enable us to be radically honest with ourselves, and in turn get our needs met and start getting what we really, really want in life. Because at the end of the day, that's what it requires. In my opinion, this level of self-honesty brings a huge amount of humor to our patterns too, where previously there may have been frustration and contempt for ourselves, the way that we beat ourselves up in our own heads. So why do we find radical honesty with ourselves so hard? Like, we are destined. I say destined, I mean designed. We're not destined to lie to ourselves, but we are designed to lie to ourselves. We don't even know we're doing it most of the time. Our ego protects our sense of self, always. Usually that comes with telling you similar little white lies to the ones that you tell other people day to day. But once you know, you know. You can't hide anymore. You can't deceive yourself anymore. Your ego gets a heck of a lot quieter. It's there. It's in your face. These patterns, these habits, these behaviors, these thoughts. But the other thing that's there is your freedom. Freedom from repeating the same cycles, patterns, and behaviors that don't serve you. Freedom from forever asking yourself, what's wrong with me? Why do I do this? Freedom from staying in situations that are not making you happy. Freedom from self-sabotage. So mindfulness adopts the concept of non-judgmental awareness. And I love that. It's just being plain and honest about what is present for you moment by moment. What you see, think, feel, hear, etc. Mindfulness has kind of been commandeered by the wishy-washy. And I'd love that to change because it's an incredible psychological tool to train your brain in so many ways that are more helpful for you. And it's also an amazing emotional regulation tool and a way to build your own awareness. Not only that, but help you zoom out from that awareness. What do I mean? To understand that you are merely the observer of your thoughts and experiences. Understanding and accepting that these things aren't who we are. They are adaptive behaviors that we can absolutely change when we heal the root cause. You cannot avoid healing the root cause. Everything you want is on the other side of this work. You might think it could be Pandora's box. I really want you to take a second to think about why you might be resistant to doing this work, why you'll always chase the strategy before you'll look into the mindset. And I say mindset as a very loose term because it's a lot deeper than that, right? So it could be that you think you're opening Pandora's box. And it might be short term, but it's incredibly freeing. And if you work with a professional, then that time frame is radically shortened. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say that it's not sometimes painful. It absolutely can be. But that doesn't mean it will be. I can tell you from experience that confronting the parts of myself that I didn't like was utterly transformative and was absolutely the making of me. Yeah, it was transformating for me and in those patterns not being there for me anymore. You know, many people refer to this as shadow work. And shadow work, I think, sounds really ominous, but it is very closely related to radical honesty, right? It's about accepting the parts of yourself that you've denied exist. It's about looking at them in the first place. Those parts of you that you shunned as unacceptable and unlovable. And yet those are the things that keep you beating yourself up in your own head and repeating the same patterns. We want the change, but we don't want to do the work because it's painful. Or we believe it might be painful. And I see too many people in a bid to fix, in inverted commas, to fix themselves. They want something done to or for them. That's why they go after these magical unicorns, because they think they're going to wave a magic wand. And I promise you, if you place your money there, it's money wasted. Everything is a collaboration of sorts. Hypnotherapy, EFT, coaching, therapy, everything is a collaboration. And the more radically honest with yourself, the better results you will get. And the thing I really, really want you to understand is that when you do the work, everything can change for you. And radical honesty is a part of that work. So what parts of yourself do you disown? What is it in the people that you dislike that is mirroring a part of yourself that you've shunned? Where do your harsh judgments of yourself and others really come from? Who do you really want to be? Because I bet you that's who you really are at your core, without all the stuff laid on top from other people's opinions and your own adaptive behaviors. So how can we reclaim the parts of ourselves that are desperate to be heard? We listen, we see, we acknowledge, we accept. Where are we projecting our own fears and feelings onto other people? Where are we not being truly honest with ourselves, and why? What benefit is there for us? love a little secondary gain. What causes you in your life to feel guilt, shame, or disgust within yourself? Yeah. Why do you really do what you do? Go back to starting with why as well. You know, that whole concept of having your why. The number of wishy-washy business owner whys I've heard over the years would make your toes curl, because the vast majority of them aren't true. The person saying them believes it's true at the time, but there's this part of them that knows it's not the real truth. And if we aren't operating from our real why, then the motivation isn't there. Most people, I would say 99.9% of people's whys are fundamentally selfish. And the more honest we can get about that, the better. I've done an episode on this before, you write down what is your why, and then ask yourself, what does that get you? And keep doing that, and then there'll be a moment where you hit an answer and you viscerally feel it in your body. That's your real why. Because fundamentally, to have what we want in life, we have to know ourselves on a deep level. Otherwise, we will never be able to call ourselves out on our own BS. And we will be destined to keep repeating the same patterns of behavior and thinking that just don't work for us. So you have to get reacquainted with yourself, all parts of yourself. This is where my friend the Enneagram keeps coming in, and why I'm so passionate about it. It really is the start of all of this. You are confronted with radical honesty and the roadmap to real, true, authentic change, and oodles of self-acceptance, self-compassion, and all the other lovely things that you want. You just got to look it in the face first. Confront it with curiosity and self-compassion. Everything that you do makes perfect sense on some level. And every person who has had an Enneagram's Essentials session with me so far has managed to laugh at themselves when we go through their number together. And they're always, if I had £1 for every time someone said, oh my God, I feel so seen, but they manage to look at themselves on a level that they haven't before, with no judgment from me or themselves. It's flipping magical. If you'd like to book one, of course, I would love to have you. If you want to do your Enneagram research on your own, have at it. My point is to do it. If you do want an Enneagram Essentials session with me, they are only £222 at the moment. And if you need a payment plan, DM me on Instagram. The link is in the show notes and in my bio on my Enneagram Insta account, which is Enneagram and Excel. See what I did there. But in my opinion, it really is the start to everything shifting for you. So take that 90 minutes and your own guidebook to carry on with, and allow things to shift for you. Allow yourself to have better communication with others, more compassion for others, understanding why things trigger you and not other people, and vice versa. More honesty with yourself and others, meaning more control, choice, and agency over your own life. This is all there for the taking. Yeah. And again, going back to more compassion with others, pretty much every single person gets their spouse, their best friend, or their parents, to do the tests too. You're able to shape your career or your business based on what you learn. You're able to hire better based on what you learn. You're able to understand why certain business models just don't feel good to you and what will. You're able to see why something is causing you to feel a certain way. I know how easy it is to just carry on carrying on and just hoping things will change, wondering why things feel off, to keep chasing the shiny objects that allow you to avoid doing the work. You don't need to keep chasing your tail. You can be radically honest with yourself. How can you be radically honest with yourself right now, today, in this moment? Create that real self-awareness and make the changes that you've been longing for. Because, my darling, you aren't broken. You do not need fixing. You just need the roadmap to you. Yeah? And I'll leave you with this thought. Wouldn't life be easier and a heck of a lot more fun if you were just able to accept and be your most authentic self? So if you got value from this and you know in your gut that now is the time to step up and start rewiring your thinking and start changing things for yourself, then join the Positive Pants Toolkit app and community so you can work out what needs to happen to get you from where you're at right now to the action-taking success you know you can be. And if you want my eyes and ears on your problems, then I work with people one-on-one and through my programs. You can find all the details to join the toolkit or book in a call in the show notes, the link in my bio on Instagram, and on my website, franexcel.com. So stop waiting for if and when and choose to change things now, because you can. I'm here to believe in you when you don't believe